What's up, guys? I want to hit you with the little after hours CLOV TA here. So one thing we forgot to go over yesterday, and that's really on my bad because I was talking way too much, was that this was in a falling channel here, and that we could actually have broken out. And I forgot to give the breakout target, so that kind of sucks. But I did talk about that I was going to sell on a pop here, and I did actually sell half my position at 1050. Or 1056 right at this line here. Um, and you can see that the RSI is rolling over, and there's bigger things that could happen actually still, even with this small movement. So I mean, I'm just a swing trader. I want to tell you guys that. So if you're investing long term, none of this short term shit really matters to you, because I will play breakouts and I will sell my positions and I'll reposition if need be, even if it means buying higher. I don't care because I'm going to play breakouts. So I did see this morning, and I was like, "Oh shit! I completely forgot to go over this in my video that I made yesterday." And someone did tell me how there was earnings today as well, so it kind of makes a lot of sense that this thing would actually turn around here. So I want to show you the breakout target of this falling wedge that we did break out, and the breakout resistance here was 980 and an hourly close above, which we did get. We came back, back tested this 974, and we came up, and actually the breakout target is 1141, but you have monster resistance at $11, and where we are right now after hours is 1115. The top of this whole falling channel that we've been in here, which you can see that big drop right there, we already dropped right below this resistance here. People are definitely swinging this thing, and this is the very, very bullish case scenario, and I'm not saying that it's going to head there, but if it was to break this $11.76 area here, that is your resistance. Now, after hours, would I play any of that? No, because it doesn't show on the charts. You can see all this post-action dotted blue lines here, just kind of moving around here. But this is your support right now. It is 1095, 1094 roughly, and that's right where it's sitting. So you could play all this shit, and that's kind of what I do during when I have the chance. And I just kind of watch for these support and resistance flips. So, right now it is on the hourly bearish divergence. You can see here on the left, and you can follow my dotted line all the way up. I'm going to move it around so you can see on your eye here. So right here was our peak that we had, and on the RSI you can see we're here. And then right now where we are, our peak here is way up here on the RSI. We're higher on the right, and we're lower on the chart above. So that's something to keep in mind, and we're starting to get affected from that. Overall here, looking at this, um, like I was talking about, although I was saying I'm bearish on a lot of these stocks here, I was expecting we were going to get some nice buybacks here, and that's exactly what we've been doing. Everything's been breaking out of these same type of patterns here, right? So this thing could roll over here, and whether or not it decides to double bottom on this main trend line or not, I'm kind of watching, and I'm going to watch that, because if you look here on the hourly, potentially if we are going to continue this bullish trajectory here, then this could be actually a massive inverse head and shoulders on, short term and maybe even long term here, right? We don't really know for sure, but if the market does continue to go sour here, which, I'm being kind of more bearish, but I am still going to play with my bearish views. So, whether or not we dump or we just flag out and continue, like maybe make a smaller falling channel here, double bottom here, and head up higher. I do want you to know that depending on where we are, a very good long position would be an hourly close above 1184, and if you wanted to play it even sooner, 1158. And right now, like as of now, 11 roughly, it is around 1180. But tomorrow, if we take a little while, it can be as 1150, it can be 1140, depending on how long it would take. If we still have another following green day, if it continues further down, 1134. So obviously, this is a downward sloping upper resistance here, but I do want to discuss that as well. And this resistance here is kind of getting lower and lower. So at some point, if we do kind of follow this cloud that we're not really above and we didn't close above, if we do follow this cloud and we come back down here and we create this inverse head and shoulders potentially, right, and we double bottom here, when you come up, your biggest resistance will be this 1040, depending on how long it takes for this all to happen. This is on an hourly time frame here, so we'll have to see kind of if it just continues to follow this cloud here down, right? So that's just something I wanted you guys to know about because, although, like I said, I'm bearish on different things, I'm still playing every single breakout trade that I can see. So I obviously was already in this one here, right, at 963 was actually, and it worked out perfectly, was this trend line here, and that was our resistance there. And, we were already above it this morning. We just came down, re-back tested it, and then we broke. So, I was kind of looking on the 4 hour here as we are bouncing off of this 1116 level that we just hit. And if you look here on this purple Ichimoku cloud here, roughly it's right at 11. Let me check. It's roughly right. I mean, it's 1118, but roughly it's 1116. You know what I mean? It's right in that area. So that being said, that's going to be some strong resistance and then strong support as of right now, 1066, 1050, 1057, and then on the lower end, 1007 here. Depending on how all of this goes, obviously we got some good volume in here, and people are playing this earnings. But I do see some downside for tomorrow, and we could come down to $10. We could come down to 10, 11, or we could maintain this and do something where we just kind of slowly, hit the top of this cloud here and just follow it here around the 1045 as resistance, or we want to keep that as support, of course. But if we do continue down here, which kind of looks like we could, I'm looking for this maybe 1009 or something, but I wouldn't enter this thing. I don't buy anything on these green days. I try to buy the stuff on the red days if I see something I like, and then I'll sell it on a green day. And that's what I did. So I did sell half my position. Whether or not I'll regret it later, I don't care because, I know I sold at a resistance point here. And, if it does actually turn to support, then I could rebuy if I wanted to and then run it up here. But for me, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to either play this. If this is an inverse head and shoulders, I'll play the right shoulder if it gets created, when it gets created, if anything happens here. Or I'll play this breakout here if it gets support up in this range. I would long it. And I did the breakout of this too, just like longer term here, just to, if in fact we do continue this and we do start turning around and stuff, which, I still don't know how it's going to work out. I mean, obviously, with this little bit of buying here, we're starting to get some rounding up a hair on this 20 EMA, but we still have a lot of resistance above. But say that this earnings comes out and we get this buying and it starts flipping some of this these EMAs here, right? This is going to be your breakout of this. If you are in this play for the longer term here, you can actually keep an eye on this. Believe it or not, this is roughly, say we get support here at 1180, 1185. We get an hourly close. We get massive volume spikes in here, which as of right now, let's take a look at the volume. And we got pretty decent spike. I mean, that's not too bad. So say we do get some kind of breakout coming up here over the course of this week here, and you get support up here in 1180, then your breakout target actually is 1533, but your main resistance up here is going to be 1446, and that's actually based off of this bigger kind of I don't even know if you want to call it what the hell would that be called really. I forget. Well, it's a broadening wedge of some sort, right? Some kind of broadening wedge, and then your breakout longer term of that here would be the end of this here, and this is just going over the extreme bullish cases of everything because I completely forgot to go through all of the bullish cases here in case we did find support, and we do continue to find support here, depending on where you hit it. And this is not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in a week. It's not going to probably even happen in a month. But obviously, your extreme bullish case here is 1729. And, your long position, if you did see this thing finding support here at 1461, 1472, 1483, something like that, right? If it does hold support up in this range, which, as you see, it has not ever been able to do that. And it really hasn't been able to get above this resistance line throughout its life. And the one time it did, I mean, it fucking spiked up from this 961, and it was from November 23rd, and it hit its blow off top December 24th. So this was a month of no consolidation, really, you know what I mean? And that's why, and really no corrections, one correction, right? So we had one correction of like this rounding area here. which inevitably probably created a left shoulder, a head, and then this right shoulder, and then we fell ever since. So, just want to keep this in mind because the whole reason that I played this thing is because when this thing hit this bottom here, I saw that we had like a month of just fucking straight up. So that was why I was like, I think I'll take a play down here because if it does want to do anything of that sort, right, and just dip the fuck out of here, then there you go, right? So look at the 4 hour though, just so you can see what I'm seeing here on the RSI, and it will be in confluence most likely with those breakout levels. There is this is potentially your pattern here that we are in this larger falling wedge here, right? So this is your larger falling wedge. Here, and this is what you're looking for. So, RSI spiking here, right? So it could come up here and test this upper trend line here. And if you get a break, then you'd be looking at that same kind of movement that we got there. So that upper line there would actually be roughly around this 1180 mark. So I do want to keep all of this into perspective here. So, did we get a 4 hour? Yeah, we got a 4 hour MACD cross already. The daily starting to roll up. We did get, we didn't get any bullish divergence in my opinion, but we did get a W here, and we did get a nice RSI spike on the daily, showing a potential bottom for the time being here, and obviously. Um, this isn't quite one of those reversal bottoming candles in my opinion because it has the wick below. If it didn't have that wick below, then I would have said, holy shit, look at this fucking thing, right? But I mean, I'm still in it. I didn't, I sold half my position, right? So I think I had 40 shares or something like that. So I only have 20 remaining. So, you know, I would add more to my position if I do see any type of support being held on this line here, and then I would change my view on everything. But to me, having this one green looking spinning top isn't that serious to me yet because obviously you've seen this happen time and time again here. So that being said, I just wanted to go over those few things, and you can see that we did get a daily death cross here potentially right there, and sometimes that happens. You get a pump on those days, and I have been seeing that, and this volume coming in is pretty sizable. So you know, moving averages are all still rolling over, and there's nothing extremely pretty about that. But I do like the volume, and I do like some of that. So we do still have a few more crosses that can happen before we can start looking at this thing actually becoming, having possibilities of going into a bull market. But as moving averages come down below, you're still in a bear market, especially once all the moving averages are below, right? All the longer term moving averages are below, or shorter term moving averages are below the longer term moving averages, which is the green line, is a significant, or what's the word I'm looking for? Um, a good reason that this thing is in a bear market, right? And then once the shorter term start crossing above the longer term, aka golden crosses, then you can start saying we're in a bull market. So you can kind of see on the daily here, shorter term moving averages, the 50, which is the red, and the yellow is the 21. The yellow is the 21. We are coming down into the green. So that's potentially saying we're going into a bear market. But of course, if price action wanted to buy up over the course of a few months here, or a few days, I guess these things can move pretty decent. I mean, they don't move that fast, but over the course of a few months here, they could start rounding up. So that's kind of, if you didn't know any of that, that's kind of where that is. So, um, short term right now, bullish, yes, starting to look a little bullish, but that doesn't mean too much. So now that we have this in here, so you can kind of see this is on the hourly, it's coming down here. It's probably going to try to catch this as support, and maybe it'll get a bounce or something, or maybe it'll just crash right on through, and then maybe come down here, double bottom underneath, and maybe get another swing up. We'll have to see how that goes. But for now, that's why I kind of sold out my position a little bit here. But like I said, doesn't mean that it can't just consolidate here and kind of do this rounding over structure that you kind of seen in the past here. Because look at this. just to show. And not that everything has to happen the same way, but look, rounding structure, spike, rounding structure, spike. So what are we getting right now? This is just looking at it very, very bullishly, because also it can still do this: rounding structure, dump, rounding structure, dump. So you know what I mean? That's just me saying. But this does kind of look like, even on the hourly here, looking at it like this, it does kind of look like it could actually turn into a small, very small inverse head and shoulders. But seeing that in the smaller time frames is how I short-term trade, because seeing it in the timer for smaller time frames sometimes shows larger time frames in an easier or smaller microscope or larger microscope. I don't know how you'd want to say that, but just kind of keeping that. That's why I watch smaller time frames here, and then you look into larger, and then you try to see if you can find the same style pattern or not. So maybe if you were looking at it like this, maybe that would be your shoulder, that would be your head, and then that would be, you know what I mean? And it's just speculating right now. So obviously it looks like the RSI is running up here, and right now we obviously have bearish divergence because we spiked so high. So this could easily just dump back and just head back down this trend line. So I don't want to get us too hyped here, but the first thing is maintaining this support above this 1056, and that's just kind of where we're at right now. So that's what we want to watch. And looking at the hourly here, you can see we closed underneath this support. So this isn't the most bullish thing right now, until we start finding support above here and not being able to fall below here. Even with small wicks is fine, as long as every candle we close is above. And we didn't even get an hourly close above that. Maybe this one, and then the next one we just dump back down anyway. You know what I mean? So that's, as far as structure, that's kind of how you want to look at stuff. You want to see yourself finding these closes above and maintaining them before you can run up. And obviously, if you do dump down, you want to maintain the support. Even if you fall below, get bought back up as long as you close above. Once you start closing below and underneath and using resistance, then you start heading back down. And then same goes with upper support. So you fall below, you buy back up, you dump below, you get an hourly close above, you can continue up. You come back down, you dump down, you wick below, that's perfectly fine. Wick below, that's perfectly fine. But then once you start getting below, getting candle closes below, now you're signifying further downside, and so on and so forth. And that goes with everything here. So that's just kind of where we're at. And hopefully that was helpful. And I kind of really wish that I went over this. I was thinking about it this morning when I saw this, and I went, oh shit, I completely forgot to bring up the fact that we could have a breakout of this falling wedge here. But anyway, we did talk about this 1058 being resistance and so on and so forth. But yeah, so that's where we're at here. So if you're in this thing long term or not, leave a like and comment below. Let me know. And otherwise, I'm just going to continue to do these swing trades and stuff, because there was plenty of plays today that I was able to make some decent breakout trades off of. And most of my positions today I did close, except for my DOCU DocuSign. That one I'm keeping open. But all right, guys.